So as we've seen, we had Brexit Thursday, Friday. Friday was a bad day. Monday is a bad day. Tuesday it started to recover already. Wednesday it's still recovering. Green shoots. Markets are almost wiping off the losses completely. However, remember what the Webbot said? Pay attention to Italy. A big bank in Italy is going to go bye-bye or major failure, something along those lines. From Zero Hedge, which is actually may not even happen now because of a new update, but the title is The First Casualty of Brexit. Italy prepares a 40 billion euro bank bailout. Now, I read this morning, Germany is saying, well, hold on, wait a minute. You remember the EU. We're a member of the EU. That's against the rules. You can't do that. There has to be losses experienced by this class of person, or not person, but this class of investor, that class of investor. Then you can go for public money under certain circumstances. You're not even doing any of that. You want to bail out right away. Germany says, no, we're not going to have that. So just as quickly as this proposal came up, it may be shut down. However, it goes to show you they need 40 billion in just Italy alone. And if they don't get it, because Germany seems to say, oh, it's not even going to happen, so you can say anything you want. We're done talking here. It's not going to happen. The fact that they immediately, we need 40 billion, we're going to do it, we're going to bail our own bank out. And now they can't. Which, remains to be seen if they actually try to do it anyways, but it's looking like, no, you can't. Which goes to show you they needed it really, 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 really bad this whole time. Brexit happened. Perfect. Like I said, we can point the finger over there. We need a $40 billion bailout because of what these UK people did. You need $40 billion? The markets have already pretty much recovered. I know it's a little shaky in the EU area, but for the most part, markets are green, everything's looking good. So it says, barely has the market had time to digest last week's Brexit vote by the UK, a vote which may never actually be implemented if the Sturm und Drang campaign unleashed by the EU and the ECB on UK capital markets succeeds in changing the mind of enough levers, as in the ones who want to leave, to the point that the entire referendum is called off and Boris Johnson never triggers the Article 50 clause, and already Europe's most financially troubled nation, Italy, is using Brexit as a pretext to unleash a $40 billion or euro bailout of its insolvent banks. I thought we fixed this problem in 2008, TARP funds, we even gave trillions overseas to those banks because we're interconnected. We're interconnected, so we can't just bail out the American banks. We've got to bail out their counterparties in the EU zone. So the Federal Reserve will just increase our balance sheets and take care of that. And we're finding out hold on a second. Just got an email. I don't know if you noticed this, but on Zero Hedge, it doesn't matter if I'm in Firefox, doesn't matter if I'm in Internet Explorer, even Chrome. The advertisements and stuff they got running on their site is basically run by JavaScript. And when you allow an advertiser to put, basically they give you the code of JavaScript to put on your pages, it allows them to manipulate things on their end to modify what the JavaScript shows, which in this case is the different ads. Rather than contact you every time we want to change our banner, we want to do this, we want to do that, they can just run their change on their side because the JavaScript's actually located, the Java code is actually located somewhere else, but it's displaying on Zero Hedge. And I'm getting pop-up, not pop-up, but the script has stopped, my page is frozen, all these problems. I get this other thing a minute ago, and I didn't do anything. I just went to the site to start looking. I was like, oh, there's some of the videos I wanted to talk about, and I'm forwarded automatically, redirected to PEEMOTEEN Fidelity.net, PMOTEEN Fidelity.net with a Firefox-patch executable file. You wish to save this, save now. Popped up like as if I clicked the link to download a program and install it. All I did was go to Zero Hedge. So I sent them a nice little email. Hey, listen, here's a screenshot. Here's what's happening. Some of your advertisers are redirecting to virus sites. You just want to throw that out there. If you want to discuss this, I'm always here. You need a technical guy to talk about it or figure out what the hell's going on. I'm your guy. So I saw that come in, lost my train of thought. So Italy is using Brexit to unleash a 40 billion euro bailout of its insolvent banks. And as I was saying, I thought the insolvent bank issue was fixed. And we all cried, hey, why didn't you just give us the money? We're the one that owes the banks the money. If we owe the banks the money, give it to us, we'll pay off our debts. The banks will now be flush with cash. We'll be less indebted. We'll have more money to spend on other things. Oh, you need a new car? Can't afford one. I got to keep this old beater for a while because I've got credit card debt, this debt, house debt. Imagine if they gave us the money, paid that off, I'm starting over. Oh, weight has been lifted. Now I don't have to work 3 jobs to make ends meet. I don't have to work 2 jobs to make ends meet. I can work even a crappy 1 job, low pay job, because my stuff's been paid off. And believe me, I know there's a lot of sheeple Americans out there that would say, oh, now that everything's paid off, I'm going to get back in debt and I'm going to go buy a more powerful car, more expensive car. Maybe I'll buy a bigger house, sell this house, take the cash because I'll have the cash free and clear. And you will have bozos doing that without a doubt. But that's the bozos. Everyone else who's feeling this financial pain, you would have lightened the load on their shoulders massively. It would have been unbelievable. So we didn't get anything except we did get lower. You guys got lower interest rates, but I still have all my debt. And the debt that was issued when I got it was issued prior to you doing the bailout. So that interest rate didn't come to me and affect me. Unless I went out and got a new house after that, when the rates dropped. Then and only then did it matter. Because last time I checked, credit cards are still in the 20-something% range, 18, 19% range if some people are lucky. Even my wife, who has the most unfreaking believable credit you ever saw, as far as fantastic goes. 800 something, even her credit card. Oh, if you don't do the old, wow, the site's crashing. The site just closed by itself. Zero Hedge. Step in my office. You're almost fired. Anyways, her credit score is fantastic. Fantastic. And even she has a credit card or 2 actually, not that we use them, but we got a tiny bit on one of them because we got to keep her credit in good standing. Because if you don't use a credit card, your credit score goes down, down, down. Well, hold on. My previous history says I have fantastic credit, so why should it go down if I'm not buying stuff? My credit should stay where it's at. Maybe not go higher, but it shouldn't go down. I can understand maybe after a long period of time, but it's almost immediate. As soon as you stop having any kind of credit out there, no open credit accounts, nope, starts to come on down. Oh, let me go get a credit card. Okay, goes back up. Even she has, what's your highest credit card percentage? Roughly. 20. Probably 20%. 800, what's the score again?
My highest is
834 credit score. 19%, 20% interest. Again, I thought having fantastic credit gets you fantastic deals, interest rates and all. Why is a credit card, first of all, even allowed to charge freaking 20%? These are the same banks. You got a Citi card, your Bank of America, maybe not necessarily Bank of America card, but, all the credit cards, the Visas, the MasterCards out there, and their little subsidiary entities. So after this comes out, Germany says, nope, that's against the EU rules. You're not supposed to do that. We agreed that's why we had bail-in legislation passed, so that the sorry-ass taxpayers will get screwed over before we have to do another bailout. And even before they get screwed, the people who have, whether it's shares or too much money in their bank account, you're going to get cleaned out before the average person gets cleaned out. Again, the bail-in is when you have more money in your bank account than what the FDIC insurance, at least in America, FDIC insurance. I don't know what the hell they got over there in Eurozone, but probably the same thing. Maybe it's just a different name. And let's say it's $250,000 and you've got $300,000 in your account and a bail-in's needed. Kiss $50,000 goodbye. That's how a bail-in works. But before that even happens, they're saying the investors and the shareholders and all these people, they should take the brunt first. And honestly, I mean, why are we even discussing this? That's absolutely how it's supposed to go. Why do we have to, pass any laws? Oh, we're going to change some laws so that we make sure this happens. They're already set to happen that way. These bozo politicians change them so it doesn't happen. And then when it doesn't happen, everyone's pissed off. We're losing. Hey, write a law to change this. Excuse me, laws were already changed a long time ago to deal with this. Your corrupt politicians change them back so that you get screwed. And you'll ask for them to fix it. They'll fix it after unfixing it. Time will go by, a few years, maybe 10 years, not sure. Maybe 20 years. And then some other politician will be in there with his and her buddies. Get a little slip under the table. We need you to pass this law. Here's a nice fat check for your campaign contributions, you and all your buddies. We need you to change this little law here, this little regulatory thing, which happens to be the thing that protected you as a citizen, your finances in a bank. And they undo it. You get screwed. You cry foul. Now they need a bank bailout because they don't want to screw you. We don't want to screw you, so we're going to do a bank bailout so you don't get screwed, which ends up screwing you anyways because now you, your children, your children's children owe trillions of dollars in debt, government debt, which essentially is your debt. And, you hear, well, the banks paid all the money back. They paid the money back. They paid it back. So, well, hold on. Then how did $9 trillion turn to $19 trillion in 8 years? I'm just saying. How currently does the Federal Reserve still have $4.5 trillion on its balance sheet? If everything's paid back and everything's great honky-dory, how do we have $19 trillion in debt and climbing fast from 8 or $9 trillion in just 8 short years? And how does the balance sheet of a Federal Reserve, which had nothing, apparently, goes to $4.5 trillion in the same period of time when their forecast was out by 2014 or 15, I think was the actual date. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was 2015. Old Bernanke showed, here's the chart of what we thought, what we not think or thought. This is where we see how our balance sheet unwinds, and by 2015 it'll be right back where it was. Case closed. QE, QE2, QE3, it worked. We told you so. Only to find out, now that he's gone especially, he don't want to look at that chart. He does not want to look at that chart because it did the opposite. Didn't peter off and go back down to nothing in 2015. It has gone up steadily. 2 trillion, 3 trillion, 4 trillion, 5 trillion. So it was no shocker to me, not even kind of, that Italy, of all EU member nations, is in deep, deep, deep financial trouble, even with Deutsche Bank, walking dead man bank. Basically, death is knocking on its door, and it's knocking on the Italy bank's door. Look, I've got the Grim Reaper behind me, and I want to hold on to you, and if it pulls me down, I'm pulling you down too, because we're both insolvent. Oh, this is going to be a fantastic thing to sit back and watch. This is going to be one absolutely for the history books when this all goes down.